Well, hello everyone. Welcome to my first tech deck. In today's episode, I shall be covering my personal favorite deck, and we shall start with the land of it. So, first is a 14 of Swamps, which is the black mana, often associated with zombies and such, the undead, demons, all that kind of stuff. Next we have, what was it, 9 of Force. Green, often associated with big creatures like beasts and hydras and stuff like that. Then we have 2 Evolving Wilds. And Evolving Wilds allow you to search your library for any land and put it on the battlefield tapped. It's pretty useful, especially if it's early in the game, so you can get out your good stuff. Next, I shall cover my Planeswalker I have in here. That would be my favorites. Sarin Markov, my very first Planeswalker, and a real powerhouse, allowing you to take life from enemies while getting you life, bring a person, opponent, whatever, their life to 10, and take control of a player's turn. He costs 3 black and 3 other mana, because, and it costs a little high, yes, but it's the payoff of the card that makes it special and worthwhile. Then we have Varaz the Scar Straight. He's from a set back in 2014. 1 black, 1 green, 1 other. He's a legendary creature, Troll Warrior, 2/2. And every creature in the graveyard has Scavenge, and then you can sacrifice a creature to regenerate him. So let's say someone kills him, I'll just sacrifice a creature and bring him back. No harm done. Nice little card I got from a friend. Now we should move on to artifacts. I have 2 Jagon of Infestations, and Jagon Infestations, they enter with 3 charge counters on them. They cost 4 mana, tap 2 green, put a charge counter on it, and then tap 2 any mana and tap the artifact themselves. You remove a counter and put a 1/1 green insect creature token with infect in the battlefield. If you're familiar with Magic, you would know what infect is, and for those who don't, that's what this deck is about. Varaz is the only creature that's not infect. In the infect, all I have to do is 10 damage to a person and they lose, compared to actual life damage. So a person can have 1,000 health, 10 poison counters, I win. Next I have 2 Contagion Clasps. They're 2 any artifacts. When they enter the battlefield, you put a -1/-1 counter on a target creature, then you can tap the artifact in 4 mana, and you proliferate, allowing you to add more counters. So more poison, more of the Planeswalker loyalty, or more of the -1, as I just said there. Next, we have sorceries. I have 2 Morbid Plunders, cost 2 black, 1 any, and allows me to return 2 creatures from the graveyard to my hand. Very useful late in the game when people kill your creatures. More Milieu. Spread the Sickness is my next one. 4 any, 1 black. Destroy target creature, then proliferate. This is a nice card, especially once you start proliferating the poison counters on an enemy to kill them quicker. I generally can end a game in 5 turns with this deck. I shall cover instants, because I only have 1 instant, and that would be Hero's Downfall. 2 black, 1 any, and destroy target creature or Planeswalker. Useful late in the game when someone brings out a big creature or their Planeswalker's been annoying you for the last couple turns. Next is my enchantments, and I have 2. The first one is called Relic Putrescence. It's a newer one I got. 1 black, 2 any. Enchant artifact, and whenever the artifact becomes tapped, the controller gets a poison counter. So just stick it on, say your opponent's using some sort of artifact they tap, or a creature that's an artifact, and they attack with it every turn, they're going to get a poison counter. Very fun to use. Then my other one is called Rancor. It's an enchantment aura, just like the last one. You attach it to creature or player. Costs just 1 green, so it's a pretty nice 1-drop. Enchanting creature gets +2/+0 and has trample. And then when Rancor is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, it instead goes to your hand. So you can have a creature constantly attack and attack and attack. Every turn you can sacrifice a creature to just constantly attack, and you can get this back in your hand. Very useful. We shall move on to creatures next, and I shall start with the black creatures. First, we have 3 Plague Stingers. Plague Stingers are a 1 black and 1 any. Insect Horror, 1/1s, flying and infect. Pretty straightforward. You can hit the enemy in the air. A lot of the people I play against don't have something to cover the air, so it's very useful. Next I have 4, so full playset of Icarats. What is it? 2 black, 1 any. It's a rat. Infects, and whenever it enters the battlefield, each player gets a poison counter. There's also a 2/1, so you can get some nice damage in even after getting those poison counters. Now I have my favorite card my favorite card black-wise in this deck. That's Creature. Hand of the Praetors. 1 black, 3 any. Enters as a 3/2. It's a zombie. Infect, and other creatures you control with Infect get the 1/1/1/1. So the 1+1/+1. Sorry about that. So those flyers I have become 2/2s, swinging in the air, and whenever you cast a creature spell that has Infect, the target player gets a poison counter. And most of this deck is just creatures with Infect, so yeah, good luck trying to deny that thing, because I never attack with it, so what's the point of losing it? And the final black creature in this deck is Entomber Exarch, a 2 black, 2 any drop, 2/2 cleric. When Entomber Exarch enters the battlefield, choose 1. Return target creature from your graveyard to your hand, so basically 1 drop of them, so like 1/2 of Morbid Plunder, or target opponent reveals their hand, then you can choose a non-creature card from it, and then that player discards the card. So if, let's say an opponent has a Planeswalker, and they're going to use it. Nope, not anymore. Very fun to do that to people. Next, I shall cover the green creatures. We'll start with, one of the better ones in this deck. Blight Mambo, 1 green, 1 any. It's a snake, infect, and it's a 1/1, but that's not what makes it special. What makes it special is that it's a regenerating. You tap, basically it's mana cost. You tap its mana cost, you regenerate it. I always swing with this thing with Rancor, because I can regenerate it, get Rancor back, put Rancor on it, and just swing for the next turn. Really useful. Next is Blight Widow, 1 green, 3 any. Spider, reach and infect, and it's a 2/4. Pretty straightforward. I use it as a blocker. Tried attacking with it once, bad idea. Always use it as a blocker against flyers, because a lot of people like to use flyers against infect. Next is Phyrexian Hydra, 2 green, 3 any. It's a Hydra, as its name suggests. Infects, 7/7, big creature. In terms of toughness, that's my strongest one. If damage would be dealt to Phyrexian Hydra, you prevent the damage. You put a 1/1 counter on Phyrexian Hydra for each 1 damage prevented this way. Very fun. Give it a Rancor, just swing with it. You get a 9/7 that can just prevent the damage. Next, we have Purifax. 2 green, 3 any. It's a horror. It's a 5/3. Trample Haste. Trample does damage over, so you block with a 0/2. I'm still going to do 3 damage, and Haste allows it to attack the same turn when summoned. It has Infect, as it will obviously have Infect in this deck. At the beginning of the end step, you sacrifice the Purifax. So basically, you summon it, you swing, and then you get rid of it. Then you can bring it back with Morbid Plunder, or the other one, as I said earlier, the creature. And you can just keep swinging and swinging and swinging. It's a very fun card, but I often swap it out for other things. One of the cards I'll show you after. Phyrexian Swarmlord, my favorite infect creature ever made. It's 2 green, 4 any, so 6, that's a lot of mana for an infect. Insect Horror, it's a 4/4, and has infect. At the beginning of your upkeep, which is beginning of your turn, you put a 1/1 green insect creature token with infect on the battlefield for each poison counter an opponent has. So for example, say an opponent has 5 tokens, you're doing a 1-on-1 match, you get 5 free insect tokens with infect. And they're 1/1s too, so you can just build up an army, block with them, chump block them, block the big creatures that don't have trample. Very nice to use, especially later in the game, because I usually get those out, and they're usually the reasons why I finish games. Next I shall cover artifact creatures. You thought I was done with artifacts, you'd be wrong. The Phyrexian specialize in a lot of artifacts. We have a 2-drop, so artifacts generally cost just any mana, so 2 any Plagmer. It's a Mertz, adds itself. It's a 1/1 infect, and you tap it, you can add 1 colorless mana to your pool, so you can get out big creatures earlier than most people. Next we have the last Mer in this deck, Ichor Mer, 2-drop to Mer, 1/1 with infect, and whenever it becomes blocked, it gets +2/+2 till end of turn. So, you know, it becomes a 3/3 if someone tries blocking it, and if I were to give it, say, Rancor, it would become a 5/3. Oh, 5/3 with trample. That just sounds like Puratrax earlier. The last cards in the deck, are Corpseker. 4-drop of any. It's a hound. Infect, 2/2. When Corpseker enters the battlefield, you can return target creature with infect from your graveyard to your hand. So you know that green thing I was covering earlier? Yep, I can get it back at least twice because I have 2 of those Corpsekers. Next, now, if you want a good idea of what else you should get, I highly recommend Ring of Colonia. 2-drop, artifact, equip creature with trample. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a 1/1 counter onto equipped creature if it's green, and it costs 1 to equip the creature. That's one of the many cards I use in sideboard, but that's probably my favorite card I have in sideboard. The rest of my sideboard's just creatures and other things that aren't too special to cover. A couple Scavenge. I used to run Scavenge with this deck a lot. And so, yeah, that is my infect deck. That is my favorite deck, my personal favorite, with my personal favorite Planeswalker. Well, one of them. The other one would be Tibble to beat Bloodfiend or whatever, so I will cover probably his deck in the next tech deck. And yeah, that would be Infect, the most hated thing in all of Magic the Gathering. Well, hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah, however the camera works, might be a little derpy at the end. Thanks for watching.